The International Fur Federation, or IFF, established in 1949, represents and regulates the global fur sector. The federation promotes the business of sustainable natural fur, and as such, actively works to develop, implement and advance animal welfare and environmental standards. In 2020, the federation introduces Fermark, an independent, world-class and comprehensive certification and traceability system that covers sustainability, animal welfare and transparency at every stage of the fur supply chain. With Fermark, we can trace fur across the entire supply chain, from retailer to dressers and dyers, manufacturers and auctions. Fermark's traceability platform provides the assurance that only certified skins from recognized animal welfare and environmental programs are used to create Fermark garments. This guarantees that the product has been produced to the highest sustainability standards.
Furmark è il sistema globale di certificazione e tracciabilità delle pellicce naturali, che garantisce il benessere animale e il rispetto dei più alti standard ambientali. Per il consumatore e i marchi, Furmark rappresenta un segno semplice e riconoscibile di qualità, garanzia e fiducia.
Well, rather like other industry labels, this is a guarantee to consumers and brands that the fur they're working with comes from the highest welfare standards and also the highest environmental standards around dressing and dyeing. If you see that Fermark label, then you know that the process has been based all the way through the value chain with inspections based on science and, of course, based on being transparent about making sure that we deliver on what we promise. And that's what Fermark is all about. I'm sometimes asked, how do you become part of Fermark? Well, it's very simple. You need to go to the website and the details will all be made available. And then your company, whether you're a dresser and dyer or a manufacturer, needs to make sure that they have met the requirements under Fermark, that you're prepared to have the independent inspections taking place. And if you're part of the industry, I really urge you to join Fermark because that's the future. Your clients are going to be demanding it and it's something that you should be doing.
Il sistema di certificazione Furmark garantisce che tutte le fasi della produzione soddisfino e rispettino i più rigorosi standard riconosciuti a livello mondiale.
So some people are a bit confused maybe as to what Fermark covers. So it is everything to do with fur. That's the farmers who are covered by different certification standards, whether they're farming from fox or mink or finnraccoon, for the trappers who may be involved in wild fur, then on to the auction houses who guarantee that they're going to be selling from Fermark trappers and farms, then through to the dressers and dyers who are going to be guaranteeing certain standards about the chemicals that they use and inspections there, and then through to manufacturers and onwards to the brands and to the retailers, and then finally to the consumers. And our technology allows us to track the fur as it goes through that process. And that's what Fermark is about, that guarantee that whether it's from a farm in Finland or part of trapping and conservation projects in Canada, once it ends up into a shop, you can be able to be guaranteed that the process is covered by the Fermark standards.
La tracciabilità è fondamentale per garantire che tutti gli standard più rigorosi vengano rispettati in ogni fase della produzione. La scelta di un prodotto Furmark rispetto ad un altro è segno di civiltà, responsabilità e rispetto.
Why then did the International Fur Federation decide to set up Fermark? Well, look, let's face it, we're a controversial industry. We face the highest scrutiny ever. And it seemed to me important that we made sure that the media, the politicians and consumers knew we were doing absolutely the very best we could when it comes to animal welfare and also to environmental standards. We had a lot of different standards around because, of course, there's lots of different types of fur. And so Fermark is a way of bringing these together under the big principles that each of the certification programs covering fur is based on science, it's based on independent inspection, and then it's based on transparency about being clear which farms or which manufacturers or dressers and dyers have failed that process. And so I felt it was needed in these modern days where there is more and more scrutiny and demand from consumers to be transparent. And that's why I'm really proud that Fermark is starting this year. So what is the link between Fermark and sustainability? How can we use Fermark to demonstrate that fur is sustainable? Well, we know that fur is a natural product. It comes from a natural source, and particularly the wild fur coming from conservation projects. But it's important that we set out what that means, and it's important that we match that sustainability record around the way in which we farm and the way in which we trap. We match that also with good animal welfare standards and bring that together. And then it's important that we demonstrate with our dressing and dyeing, we're doing everything we can to make sure that the chemicals are as clean as possible. So you bring these elements together, and I believe that fur is a hugely sustainable product, and that Fermark is a way in which we can then tell consumers about not only the welfare, but also our proud record on sustainability.